Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thunderstruck, a series devoted to looking at the greatest matches of one Jushin Thunder Liger, as picked by each standalone and unique guest of this series. And joining me today is the co-host of the New Japan-centric podcast, the Super J-Cast, which you can find over at voicesofwrestling.com. A good friend of mine as well. I can say this because I've actually met him in person and we've dined together, so I feel that qualifies me and him as being good friends now. He is Joel Abraham. Joel, how are you today?
Very well, thank you. It's all about that tablet ordering in Japan, isn't it? You don't have to deal with the shame of having to go face-to-face with a waiter ordering obscene amounts of food.
No, tablet ordering is amazing. So just to enlighten the listeners, so you and I went to see Dominion together, but the night before, yourself, your wife Molly, and me, we were looking for a place to eat. But believe it or not, in Osaka, it's a little difficult to find things still open around like 10:30 p.m. at night, even though it's like a major city in Japan. But thankfully, we found an izakaya, which is a Japanese style restaurant where you can order a bunch of like dishes, and they're all fairly affordable, and so you can just order plates and plates of stuff. You get the nomi hodai, which means all you can drink, and it's a great deal. And then you and I spent 2 hours just eating and drinking and talking.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it so much, WH, that we actually went back to the same restaurant again several days later. And if you can believe this, ordered even more food. That was us on our best behavior because we didn't want to embarrass ourselves in front of you, but we were off the leash the next time.
Oh no, please in the future, just go crazy. I don't care. And I can tell, you guys love food just from your Instagram and your Facebook posts, because we're friends on those platforms as well. So yeah, in January, if you guys feel you're gonna just go crazy ordering at izakaya and I'm with you, don't worry about how I perceive it. I'm the same way with my friends. This is okay, we're going to order more, if we go to yakiniku, right? Where you grill your own meat, my friends and I just order meat to the point where we're can I get up from this table? I don't know, because I am really full and I feel all this meat's going to explode out of my intestines, just the wrong way if I move. So it's okay. You have my permission to go crazy next time.
Sign us up for that. Definitely. I want the exploding intestines meat experience in January, please.
See, that's the other thing is we're probably going to be eating exploded intestines from different animals. So it seems appropriate that would explode our human intestines. But anyways, we shouldn't really talk too much about exploding intestines. It's not what this podcast is about. We're here to talk about one Jushin Thunder Liger. And, I say the thing that's unique about this series, Joel, is that I don't pick any of these matches. The guests pick the match, that they want to talk about. And I was thinking, yeah, that's a great idea because I do less work. I just have to watch the match, really. You're the one, as the guest has to, talk about the background, why they picked it, and maybe give the backstory of it. I don't have to do that much research about it. And I think it's Jushin Liger. Who's going to pick a match with Jushin Liger that I'm not going to like? Well, maybe this might be one of those cases where I might regret having this policy, Joel. But I'm not going to say whether or not that's true or not. We'll get to the heart of the match and the discussion, and I'll tell you what I really felt about watching this match. But Joe, what match did you pick for us to talk about?
I have picked for us Jushin Thunder Liger versus Taichi in the 2017 Best of the Super Juniors.
And this is the finals.
This was the final block night.
All right, the A block finals, right? Okay, and this emanates from Osaka Edion Arena 2. This is the smaller version of Edion Arena, which is in the basement. It's not the main one where you see the G1 usually held. And this the date on this match was May 31st, 2017. And so, Joel, tell me, why did you pick this particular match?
This is a truly historic match, WH, because this was the final Best of the Super Juniors appearance for one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, an absolute legend of the sport. I'm talking, of course, about Taichi, and it also happened to be Liger's last appearance in the Best of the Super Juniors too. So you got that double whammy there, a doubly historic wrestling match here with both guys. It's their final Best of the Super Juniors appearance. And I'm sure you're going to have other people on your show who have picked absolute classics, 5-star brilliant matches with Liger, who, widely agreed, one of the greatest wrestlers ever. But I just like to be different, WH. So I don't know. It sounds, just by your introduction, that you weren't that keen on this match.
Well, I'm not that keen on Taichi. I think anyone who's ever listened to any podcast I've ever been on knows, like, he's one of my least favorite wrestlers in the last 10 years. I don't like a lot of the shtick. I'm not a big fan of the gimmick. The Holy Emperor, right? Like, I don't like the lip syncing. I don't like the bullshit in a lot of his matches. That being said, like, since he's gone heavyweight, he has had some really great matches that I've enjoyed, particularly the ones with Tomohiro Ishii. And I thought he did really well in this year's G1. So I'm not saying I turned around on Taichi, but I hate him a lot less than I did in 2017. Let me just say that, Joel. But, before we get into the match itself, I forgot to ask you, what does Jushin Thunder Liger mean to you as a wrestling fan? Because you cover New Japan Pro Wrestling specifically, so you would have this kind of really focused perspective on someone who's synonymous with that particular company.
As a relatively newer fan, I don't have that deep emotional connection to Liger that a lot of other people do, particularly my co-host, Damon McDonald, who I'm sure you all know, that listeners probably know him as well, who has just such deep love for Liger. Liger's such a huge part of his fandom as a wrestling fan. So my love for Liger is sort of, I enjoy it kind of even more having Damon as a co-host than a friend, because I know how much Liger means to him. So I've come in as a fan sort of towards the tail end of Liger's career. So I haven't been there through, his heyday where he was just the man in the junior division. I mean, just speaking about Best of the Super Juniors by itself, he wrestled in every single Best of the Super Juniors except 95 and 2000. He won the competition 3 times in 1992, 1994, 2001, and this 2017, that was his 26th and final entrance. So he's got the pedigree there. He's got the history. It's just Liger and the Best of the Super Juniors just goes hand in hand together. It's difficult to separate the two. And I know it was very strange for a lot of people watching Best of the Super Juniors last year and this year, not having Liger there at all.
Yeah. And so what I think, the other question I should ask you is that, like, anyone who's listened to the Super J-Cast knows that you have a deep love for one Taichi Ishikari. What is it about Taichi that you love? Because, like, I know, like, there's a lot of people who love Taichi, and I can kind of understand why, but he does nothing for me. But I want to know why you specifically love Taichi to the point where you just, like, gush about him for the most part, like in almost every episode of the Super J-Cast.
Taichi is a guy who I think hates himself a bit. And as a result of that, I think that manifests itself having a big chip on his shoulder as well. And he takes that out on other people, and he's just an asshole to everyone. So I see a lot of myself in Taichi. So when he's behaving badly like that, I just think, that really resonates with me. That's my kind of guy. He's not all, happy and friendly all the time and being nice to everyone. No, if he feels he's been disrespected, he acts like a dick, a bit like me on the old Twitter sometimes. And so I think definitely I feel like I can connect with him personally. But I'm going to level with you, WH. Around this time, 2017, I also hated him because his matches stank. And he always fucked about with them, and you never saw any proper wrestling. And I thought this was an interesting match to look at because my love for Taichi started to grow, I guess, when he moved to the heavyweight division around, I think this was early 2018, and he started having matches with guys like Naito, Tanahashi, and we actually saw him doing some proper wrestling, which is not something you saw too much from Taichi, especially when he was working in the junior division. So I think comparing this 2017 Taichi with 2019 Taichi's, I think having like legitimate bangers with guys like Shingo Takagi and Tomohiro Ishii in the G1, night and day. It's like you're watching a different wrestler.
Yeah, I think it is a nice contrast to go back to the Taichi that I absolutely hated from this, and to the Taichi I can like moderately enjoy some of his matches a lot more now. But one thing I want to mention is that I wasn't that surprised when you picked this match, because you wrote a piece about this particular match for voicesofwrestling.com for their Liger Beat series, which is kind of like the kind of written form of this particular show. I would urge people who enjoy Thunderstruck to go out and check out this article series, essay series about a lot of the different matches that other people have picked and wrote about instead of doing podcasting. And you wrote an article about this particular match. And I will say, like, I've watched this match twice. The first time was just to watch it and just kind of absorb it. And the second time was to take notes for it. But before I watched it the second time, I went back and I read your article about this. And I thought it was a great article because not only did you give like a lot of historical background for Liger, but you talked about the importance for Taichi, and like you gave a lot of background. Like, so in this match, Taichi is the A block leader, and that he'll more or less, I guess, win the tournament if he beats Liger, who came into this tournament basically winless. He had 0 points going into this match.
Yeah, it was just a really interesting way it was set up because, like you say, so this was Taichi's 7th best of the Super Juniors, the final time he was in it, and he had never won it before, obviously, and the block that both guys were in was absolutely stacked. You got Ricochet, you got former junior champions Dragon Lee, Mighty Skull, Hiromu Takahashi. You got the current champion Will Ospreay. So it's like a who's who of current New Japan juniors, and so it was just very delicately balanced. And Taichi was going into this match joint top of the block, so he had 8 points. He had wins over Dragon Lee, Mighty Skull, Taka Michinoku, Will Ospreay. So all Taichi needed to do was just get a win over Liger, who, like you said, had 0 points, and he would have won the block. And that would have been a very big achievement to win a block with, the talent that I've listed on there. But looking at Liger's point of view, it's just classic New Japan booking, because in other companies, you see the fairy tale story, the legend of the sport coming in for his last run in a tournament. And you think, oh, maybe they're going to have, what a Hail Mary run, win it one last time. But that's not how they do things in New Japan. So Liger's 0 points. He's got the goose egg. Everyone knows it's going to be his final best of the Super Juniors. And I remember beforehand, some people were saying, oh, I think Liger's going to win the tournament. He's going to, have one last hurrah. But that's not what happens in New Japan. He lost all 6 of his league matches up to this point. And the story with Liger, he's too old. Time's caught up with him. The guys he's fighting against are stronger than him, faster than him, better than him. And from a personal point of view, Liger's a humble guy. I can't imagine that he had any problem with this. I'm sure he was campaigning. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever was booking it said, like, hey, Liger, should we give you a few wins? And he was like, no. I want to lose to everyone apart from the final night. So you had a lot of people who I think were quite surprised or disappointed that Liger had such a poor run in this tournament. And you compare it to the previous year with Hiroshi Tenzan, who had his final G1, and people were thinking, oh, yeah, maybe this is, he's going to do it. But again, that's ended up, he had quite a few losses in that tournament. And I don't know how many points he ended up with, but a sort of similar situation here. It doesn't always have a happy ending in New Japan. And there's also a bit of history between the two wrestlers, as I mentioned in the article. And I think it's quite fitting that we discuss this now with this match coming up at King of Pro Wrestling with Jushin Thunder Liger and Minoru Suzuki, because we saw at the Destruction in Kobe, I'm going to say, the reappearance of Kishin Liger. And Taichi is a man who is familiar with Kishin Liger because they had a tag match together in Dominion in 2012. So it was Liger and Tiger Mask 4 against Taichi and Taka Michinoku for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Championships. Taichi starts going after Liger's mask, and that's something that just always seems to trigger the appearance of the demonic Kishin Liger. So Kishin Liger sort of kind of burst out from beneath the surface of Jushin Thunder Liger. He does a red mist to Taichi, power bombs in through a table. Suzuki-gun lose the match. They lost the titles. So you've got this history set up between these two guys as well, where there's that little echo, the ghost of Kishin Liger looming over the match.
Yeah, that's all great details that you can find in Joel's article about this match at voiceofwrestling.com under the Liger Beat series. Go check that out. One thing I do want to like touch upon, thing that you mentioned, is like this, like the like really how unselfish Jushin Thunder Liger is. He has had no problem putting over various people throughout his career, when he was a huge star in the 90s up until, like, I guess the start of his tail end in the 2000s, up until, like, really the last 10 years. If he can put people over, he's going to do it. He has absolutely no ego. I think he cares about the wrestling business. He cares about New Japan Pro Wrestling. He has a big hand in training a lot of the guys in the dojo. So it's going to be, I think, bittersweet to see Liger retire this coming January, but at the same time, I'm happy for him, because I think that's what he wants. I think he just wants to like eat a lot of like chanko nabe at the dojo with the boys and train them, and like, you know, sit on their stomachs while they're doing bridging exercises. I think that's his dream, and not having to go to the ring, and maybe he's gonna lose that like buff, you know, tan and you know, upper body that he has at the age of 52. What is he now? 55 right now?
Yeah. So I was going to ask you the same question, actually. He's absolutely jacked for a guy in his mid-50s. He's got, you know, the rippling muscles and amazing bronze body. You think there's a chance of him losing that after his retirement? Because I know a lot of professional athletes, after they retire, they just get really fat. But I can't imagine a fat Liger for some reason.
I think like him and Tanahashi are just gonna like not give a shit anymore and just like fucking eat at the dojo. They're just gonna eat at the dojo, because like all the young boys have to make all the food. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to clean up. They just go in. They do a couple of workouts with the guys. Like they just teach them some techniques. They don't have to be in shape for that, and they just eat. It's probably their dream. That's probably fucking Kojima's dream as well. He's just gonna eat bread and like lariat people like at the dojo. I think that's like their retirement plan when they finally leave the wrestling ring for the last time. But let's get to this match. So we start off with Taichi. He comes out first, doing his lip syncing gimmick for his song. But alas, Joel, there's no Miho Abe. She's not here today. So I'm already hating this man more than I usually do. Instead, he is accompanied by Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado, his teammates in suzuki-gun. And I can already smell the impending smell of bullshit in the air, Joel. I don't know about you. When you see like Taichi come out with like either Taka or Kanemaru or El Desperado, what do you smell in the air?
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, really. I would just say I think Taichi's grown a lot as a human being over the past couple of years. I think he's got more confidence in his own abilities to win a wrestling match the right way, without having to all the time lean on the shenanigans of his suzuki-gun buddies.
Yeah, so Liger's out next, and he gets a very warm response from the audience here in Osaka, who are like outside of like Korakuen Hall, like and like Sumo Hall, basically the best New Japan Pro Wrestling fans in the entire country, in the world. They exist in Osaka, Joel. Like, as you well know, because you've been to Dominion and you've experienced the Osaka excitement for the New Japan product. We see Taichi immediately attacking Jushin Thunder Liger with his microphone, and who is also jumped by Desperado and Kanemaru. Taichi cuts a promo on Liger, and you translated this in your article. What did he say to him at this point, Joel?
Before we do that, I just wanted to mention that Liger was getting a bit of help removing his cape from three young lads at ringside, three young lions. I don't know if you've heard of these guys. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen them. Tomoyuki Oka, Hirai Kawato, Katsuya Kitamura. I mean, what a cursed class of young lions that was. And also you can throw in there Kanemitsu, who had to retire. And
Yagi, right? He was in there. Tetsuhiro Yagi was in that group?
He was. Yeah, I think he was in the next go. He's in the one with like Shota Umino and Ren Narita.
Yeah,
he was best buddies with Ren Narita.
He had to retire, unfortunately. They always get this amazing group of young lions, and then for whatever reason, like personal reasons or things that we're not privy to, like what's his name? The bodybuilder dude, Kitamura.
He had a
motorcycle
scooter accident. No, it's a skateboarding accident.
I'm just waiting for actually he took up ice skating, and he cut himself. accidentally with the skates. I don't know. Like he's him and Kanemitsu just basically go on YouTube and talk about bodybuilding now. That's all they're doing, and it's really great to see that they haven't disappeared entirely from the public consciousness. That, I don't know, maybe some people are holding out hope that they're going to come back. Kanemitsu, I think he's just done because of injuries. Kitamura, who knows? But yes, back to the match. The promo.
Sorry, I was still going to talk about the promo. Yeah. So I had some help translating this with my friend Momo, who was introduced to me by our mutual friend Fraser. So Momo gave me a lot of help translating these. So I want to give a shout out to her for doing all the hard work here. So the promo, he said, "Hey, Liger." So Zura means a wig in Japanese. Officially, it's Katsura. Zura is kind of a slang. As Japanese doesn't have a difference in pronunciation of R and L. So Taichi puts Zu before his name to tease Liger that he's wearing a wig and to make his name sound stupid. And Taichi says to him, "You're graduating from the Best of the Super Junior this year, huh?" "No, you're wrong. Final Best of the Super Junior's official match today. You're retiring today. Let's begin his farewell match now. Strike a gong." So thank you, Momo, for the translation there.
Thank you so much, Momo. From here, Taichi continues the assault. Liger is thrown outside where Suzuki-gun attacks him some more, while Marty Asami is made to look like a complete fucking idiot by Taichi. A recurring theme throughout the last 5 years of New Japan Pro Wrestling booking. Let's make all our referees look like idiots. From here, there's a big Liger call from the crowd. They're not having this. They're firmly behind Liger. And one of the positive things that I took away from this match is like how much heat is generated by the bullshit of Taichi. I will not deny that it generates a lot of like good heat for Liger, for his opponents, and like this Osaka Gara just wants Liger to come back from this chicanery and get back in that ring and beat the piss out of Taichi. And I'm all for it there, Joel.
Yeah, it's just funny that he's getting just stomped on the ring by like 3 guys, and then referee Marty Asami's just like, "Yeah, okay, let's start the match now. Yeah, this seems good. This is fair."
Yeah, from here, Liger reverses a whip and tries for a shote, but Taichi ducks that. Fortunately, Liger catches him in a classic tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. In my estimation, Joel, his tilt-a-whirl backbreaker is probably the most beautiful, the most graceful, even at the age of 52. I think he's 52 in 2017. Better than even Scott Steiner's.
Yeah, I think it's that low center of gravity. It just seems to spin them around so smoothly and cleanly, and it just looks brilliant.
Yeah, from here, from the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, Taichi rolls outside, and Liger follows him, but Desperado foils anything that the Masked Legend had planned for the holy asshole, as I like to call him. There's some more cheap shit from Taichi with him choking Liger with a cable. Liger is thrown into the seats and then choked with a seat, and this is like, the classic, also another great ghetto trope, the walk and brawl. Let's go into the crowd. Almost every match in New Japan has this, it's especially if it involves members of Suzuki-gun. We are then treated to one of Booker Man Ghetto's favorite tropes, the near 20 countout. But yeah, guess what, Joel? Liger gets in at 19.
Yeah, it's like painting by numbers here. You could tick off on your little list all of the little Gato tropes that you're going to get, like the walk and brawl, the interference, the 19 count. You got the mask shenanigans going on. You just got your perfect storm of bullshit in this match.
I was really worried there for a second, Joel. I didn't think Liger was going to make it in before the 20 count, but I was so relieved when he got in by 19. I didn't think that was going to happen. Waiting inside is Taichi, who now has the ring bell hammer. So ring the bell. So you get, usually it's the timekeeper dude. He hits it. He's got that. It's in his hand. This is a Taichi trope. This is one of his favorite weapons. Taichi hits and chokes Liger with it in typical Taichi manner. Taichi then props Liger on the top turnbuckle, where he starts to unlace Liger's mask to massive boos from the crowd. Don't fuck with Liger's mask.
Yeah, I mean, that is a surefire way to incur the wrath of Jushin Liger. So, again, the story here being that Taichi's ego and his cruelty is going to end up getting him in hot water, because if he'd just wrestled a clean match, then he might have ended up winning. But no, he's just got to do all of his nasty shenanigans and we'll see. Does it end up costing him in the end of this match?
Yes, we'll find out. Liger is able to reverse a vertical suplex. Liger falls, but he misses a charge into the corner, and Taichi hits him with 2 thigh slaps. Kicks. That led him get a 2 count on Liger. He is very bad. I will say this about Taichi. He's one of the most egregious offenders of thigh slapping for his kicks in wrestling.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect. I mean, what do you want? He's a guy who is just, this wrestling match had a total of how many moves? About 3 wrestling moves in the whole thing. I don't know. I thought the thigh slapping was the least of your worries here.
Well, I mean, I say this. The man was trained by Toshiaki Kawada, There's no thigh slapping from Toshiaki Kawada, you know what I mean? Like, listen, Taichi, these are grown men.
He's a heel. I mean, if he does proper kicks, then people are going to start cheering him. It's all a carefully crafted heelish act, WH. Right. You're getting worked. Come on.
I've been worked into a shoot or shot into a work. Which one is it?
Don't get worked into a shoot, brother.
All right. Okay. Like I never know what that means. Worked into a shoot or so. Anyways, never mind. We're getting derailed. Fuck that. Okay. Anyway, at this point, maybe one of your favorite spots, Joel. The pants come off, and then Taichi hits a big super kick for another big 2 count. Are you a big fan of the pants off?
Now I am, yeah, and I think the crowd like it as well. He always seems to get quite a big pop when he does that, and you saw actually Okada copying him at Wrestle Kingdom this year. So whipping the long boys off and having the shorts underneath. That's Okada's seen that it's working for Taichi and is starting to steal his moves there.
This is true. This is a good point you bring up. And you know what the thing with Okada is, like, he's still doing that, like almost like 10 months later, he's still whipping off the pants, like, and everyone pops for it, even though they know he's wearing his biker shorts again. He's not wearing the flared pants anymore. But bless his heart, Okada milks that shit for all it's worth. So kudos to him. From here, Liger hits a backdrop at Shote and goes for another Shote, but Taichi pulls in dumbass Asami, who takes it instead and gets knocked outside. This signals for Kanemaru and Desperado to hit the fucking ring again to stomp away on Liger. And I'm just like, oh my god, what the fuck am I watching here? This is like Liger's last match in the best of the Super Juniors. I don't remember the time when I watched this, like, as it happened, Joel, but I'm pretty sure my blood pressure was at an all-time high.
What do you think of the decision to have Taichi as his final opponent? Because do you, I mean, one way of looking at it could be like, this is a huge endorsement and sign of trust in Taichi that they thought he was an appropriate opponent for Liger, that he could get that kind of heat and the big babyface comeback for Liger. Or maybe a little bit that it was the end of a grueling tour and Liger was a bit knackered and he just needed to sort of take it easy. That's why there was all the bullshit and the shenanigans. But what do you think when you see this as Liger's final ever Best of the Super Juniors match?
So I will say this in all fairness, like despite what I feel and maybe in other fans who feel like the same way about Taichi that I do, there is obviously a lot of trust in Taichi as a performer and a lot of hope that he's going to become a big star, right? It's so obvious that that's what Geto sees in him, that he gives him so much, like when he was a junior. And then when he was in Noah, he was like the top guy in the Suzuki-gun Invasion in the junior division during that year that they were there in Pro Wrestling Noah. And then he comes back and then he moves quickly back into the heavyweight division now. And then he's given us such a huge push. He is like, I would say he's like in the upper mid-card, position of that company. And like, it means something for people to beat him. It means, and he gets a lot of fan support. So there is something to him. As much as I hate to admit it, Joel, I will say that there is something to Taichi that the bookers and the management of New Japan Pro Wrestling see in Taichi. So, and Liger probably sees this in him. Like, Liger is a fan of wrestling. He's a fan of Japanese wrestling. He's a fan of American wrestling. So he probably looks at Taichi as like, this is a guy who I think can be like a top guy in this company. If I can do whatever I can do to help him reach that, no problem. And you say that maybe this is going to be a night out for Taichi because of a lot of the shenanigans, but I gotta say, Liger worked his ass off in this match, and so did Taichi, to be fair.
Yeah, it was just interesting. I mean, looking at the other names in the A block, that you would think, if Liger's sitting down and looking at names like Will Ospreay, Dragon Lee, Ricochet, Hiromu, that he picked, well, I'm assuming he picked, I should assume he had some say in it, that he thought Taichi was the best person to bow out on, rather than, having a big emotional send-off match with a younger, up-and-coming, more talented guy. Let's say, for example, a Will Ospreay.
I just think, like, Liger, if you look at his history, like, he just does what the booker says. He would probably have some say, but I'm sure if Gedo just like, we want to make, your final match in your last Best of the Super Juniors to be against Taichi, he's like, okay, yeah, let's do something interesting and fun for the fans. And he probably wanted to, like you're saying earlier, he probably wanted to lose to Taichi, but they probably said, no, you got to win. We got to send you off on a high note in Osaka. So yeah, I do think there's something to that it's a possibility that Liger, picked Taichi to be his last opponent to help elevate him. But I can also see it easily being a situation where Gedo said to him, this is your last opponent, and he just said, okay, no problem. Let's do the best we can with this situation, this match. So that's how I feel about that. Back to the match itself. From here, Taichi tears at Liger's mask now. So before he was trying to unlace the back of it, Joel, but this time he's ripping at the front of it. That at this point, Kenta Sato, one of the few referees, because he works mainly the bottom of the card, so he's usually free of the bullshit. He hits the ring, and he's trying desperately to get Kanemaru and Desperado out of the ring to make this a fair fight. But then Taichi throws Liger into him, thus making him look like an ass clown as well. So all the refs, like, I don't know what happened with Red Shoes later on in the card, but I'm sure he made a complete jackass of himself as well.
I can't defend any of that. At least he didn't flip anyone off, though.
Well, who, Kenta Sato? Or Red Shoes?
Well, anyone. Yeah, I mean, Red Shoes were not involved here, but, thankful for small mercies.
Yes. I usually look, when I watch Kenta Sato matches, when he's refereeing, I'm like, okay, this match should be relatively bullshit free, because he rarely gets involved. It's like, if I'm a referee in New Japan, I want to do the opening match to, like, maybe up to the fourth match on the card, and then Asami takes over, and then the last two matches are usually Red Shoes. And then for me, like, I can ignore most of it, but, like, just the little things about Red Shoes, like the hands on the hips and, like, the waving of the finger, the shaking of the head, just annoy me. But I can still enjoy, like, a Will Ospreay Okada match that he's reffing without, it doesn't derail it completely for me or anything. But it's just like, I rather wish, Kenta Sato was refereeing this match instead. But anyways, I digress again to talking about referees. From here, Desperado reaches into his t-shirt. This is really weird. So Desperado goes into his t-shirt, right? I'm not watching this incorrectly. And he pulls out a massive pair of scissors. And I'm like wondering, Joel, how the fuck did he keep these things in his shirt, right? Did he tape them to his chest? And how did he not get cut from having these scissors inside of his shirt?
Maybe he had a little pair of scissors, a little scissors holster underneath. I don't know. It's not something I thought about when I was watching the match, but now you bring it up. Yeah, dangerous move there.
Go back. We'll just watch this spot. So he like just goes into his t-shirt. There's not much room for error, and he just pulls out. They're not like like just paper scissors. That you get crafts class or something like that, and you're just that are safety scissors for kids. These are like a massive pair that you could probably like trim your lawn with. And I'm just like, anyways, it just blew my mind, like, that he pulled out these scissors from under his shirt, and he didn't seem to be hurt from having them under his shirt the whole fucking time. Like, he's stomping away at Liger, he's doing moves with Liger, and like he's pretty safe. I don't know. Anyways, from here,
there's history, of course, with Liger and the scissors. That this was in 2006. There's a Crackle and Hall show. It was a co-promoted show between NJPW and the Counter-Terrorism Unit, if you remember them. So it was a Bad Boy Hido in a hardcore match against Jushin Liger. So before that happened, Hido had cut bits of Liger's hair away as he was held down using scissors. So then Jushin Liger came back and they had a really brutal, violent match. They went all over Crackle and Hall. They were using weapons on each other, just beating the crap out of each other. And the whole time, Jushin Liger's just got this evil smile on his face. And even as Jushin Liger, so Hido again tried to use the scissors to. He actually tried to bludgeon Liger during the match with the scissors, and there were barbed wire bats and chairs, and Jushin Liger finally won the match. But there's something about scissors and Liger and Jushin Liger that I'll be wonder to see if we see the scissors make an appearance at King Pro Wrestling with Suzuki.
But that and maybe the railroad spike that he likes to almost murder people with when he's Jushin Liger. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be an interesting match. At the time of this recording, like King of Pro Wrestling is a couple of weeks away, but that's probably maybe one of my most anticipated matches from that show. But back to the Taichi Liger match, we see Desperado and Kanemaru holding Liger down while Taichi cuts off part of his horn. So you see that it's made of foam, and Liger's hair/wig and costume. So he's really doing a number on this fucking costume. This classic costume of Liger. We see that despite wearing a full bodysuit, Joel, this is my favorite part of this whole match. That despite wearing a full bodysuit and a full face mask, Liger possesses a very nice, even tan and a buff chest for someone in their 50s.
If you forgive the pun, this was quite horny. Getting the scissors out, cutting his shirt away so you could just gradually see his hunky 52-year-old chest. There's just something quite, I don't know, maybe this is something I jumped to a bit too quickly, but there's definitely some sexual tension in the air as he started to cut through his bodysuit there.
Well, I can see it. He's a very well put together man for a man in his 50s who's been in the wrestling business for like over 30 years. So, but my thing is more the tan. It's like you wear a full bodysuit. The only thing you have to show are your hands. That's it. So if he just tanned his hands, I can understand that. But his whole body, I imagine his whole entire body is tanned. I bet he has no tan lines. Not to get too sexy here, but that's.
Wait. So do you think this is he going to the tanning salon? Is he lying on the sunbeds there? You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Or he's going to like a secluded part of some beach and just getting down to his birthday suit and just tanning all over. He seems like that kind of a guy.
Yeah, would that shock you to know that Liger spends his time off just, I don't know, on a beach in, where are the beaches? Kyushu or Okinawa or somewhere like that?
Down Okinawa,
with a cocktail in his hand, just absolutely stark bollock naked, girls everywhere. That wouldn't stun me.
Dude, you wouldn't believe some of the stories I hear about, like, these guys from the 80s and 90s. Like, I'm not going to get into it. But, like, would it surprise me if that's what Liger did in his off time? No, it would not. But anyways, at this point, guess who shows up? Joel, Liger's friends finally fucking make an appearance. So Kushida and Taguchi come down to even the score and, like, even the odds for Liger to take out Desperado and Kanemaru. And I'm just, like, wondering, where were these guys? Like, for the last, I don't know, 15 fucking minutes. Were they, like, playing pachinko? Were they, like, out having a cigarette? Like,
The dressing room was very, very far away. So they started running about 10 minutes ago, but they only just now managed to hit the ring. That's my theory.
I like it when
or they were naked and had to get dressed.
That could be. Well, no, they changed. I guess they were wearing their warm up clothes. But anyways, I hate.
They're in the shower together, soaping up, and they just, oh no, Liger's in trouble.
This is maybe the sexiest episode of this particular series, there, Joel. I don't know what you were going to talk about when I do my new series. Maybe when I do a new series in 2020, I don't know if I'm going to have you on because it's going to be too sexy for postwrestling.com, but we'll see. Anyways, Taichi has a chair and is about to use it when Liger hits it and Taichi with a capo kick. I felt like he kind of missed it, and Taichi just decided to sell it anyways because it was like we're getting close to the end of the match.
The man had like a mask half hanging off his face. What do you want?
This is true. We have to give him some slack. So from this point, Joe, like, why don't you end the rest of the match because we're at the end of it.
All right. So again, we're getting just the spirit of Jushin Liger appearing in this match, where Liger goes for the shote and a release powerbomb and a brain buster. He gets the 1, 2, 3. So we get the quasi fairy tale ending here. Liger wins his final Best of the Super Juniors match. He stops Taichi from getting through to the finals. He foils the bad guy, and he gets the big congratulations from his buddies, Taguchi, Kushida, and he gets the microphone. And he says, thank you to everyone. I mean, I've got the translation here from Momo. Help me out with this. He says, people at the venue in Osaka, thank you very much for your support. Liger's Best of the Super Juniors is over today. With your support, I managed to finish this tournament with a victory. In the chaotic match, Taguchi and Kushida helped me today. They still have a Yoyogi match left for the next year, 2 years. I know they will continue to warm up this juniors tournament with more energetic and more exciting matches. I'll be sitting in the commentary sheet and we'll be watching with shouting suge, meaning fantastic in Japanese, casual version of sugoi, with you guys. So please continue your support. Thank you very much, Jushin Thunder Liger. And just reading this, WH, Liger said here that for the next few years, he knows that these guys are going to continue lighting up the junior tournament, but Kushida letting the side down. He's not going to be lighting up any Best of the Super Juniors tournaments anymore.
He's going to be lighting up NXT UK, fighting, Walter and the rest of Imperium with his new buddies, Breeze Dango. Anyways, I don't want to get into talk about Kushida in NXT teaming with fucking Fandango and fucking Tyler Breeze. But anyways, Taguchi's still there. Even though, you know what, Taguchi should graduate to being like a mid-card heavyweight. Let's be honest. It's really stretching the suspension of disbelief to like see fucking Taguchi still in the junior division of New Japan.
Really? I think he's got a spot for life there. He doesn't seem big or muscular enough to be a credible heavyweight. I think as the sort of veteran / comic relief of the junior division, I think he's fine there. I have no desire to see him move up.
Yeah, I just think it'd be a nice, I don't know, breath of fresh air for him and the fans to just get him out of the junior division. He doesn't have to be.
Are you saying you want Taguchi in the G1? Is this what you're telling me?
No, I said a mid-carder. Like, he could just be a mid-carder. Like, do something interesting with him. I'm not, like, maybe, I don't know, make him kind of an edgy heel. I don't know. Like, I think he's smart enough. Like, if you give him a chance to do something different, he'll do it. Like, if you drop the comedy with the dude, and I like the comedy from Taguchi, but I don't know. It's just played out. It's like I'm tired of Yano. Like once in a while, like, okay, it's a Yano comedy match. It's fine. But do I want to see Yano like all the time? No. I don't. Do I want to see Taguchi all the time? Big match Taguchi is fine, but like comedy Taguchi, I take it or leave it. I skipped, a lot of the undercards for the last tour, like the Dominion tour, the Destruction tour, just because like I don't want to see these multi-man matches because they're all stale. Like the whole alignment and direction of like the mid-carders in New Japan is not really exciting me. I'm not going to get excited until probably post King of Pro Wrestling into the road to Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, I don't know. Taguchi's fine. Kushida's gone to different pastures. I'm not going to say greener because we'll see what his future ultimately ends up being in the WWE. But
the money's greener, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I was reading about like how much their downside. If that guy, like, I gotta imagine NXT now is like main roster, and like if a lot of people like say, yeah, our contracts are coming, like they're gonna get these 6-figure contracts. Like I'm reading about like some of this money that these guys are getting now, and
well, it's just like the Anderson and Gallows, just these obscene amounts that these guys are getting offered. I mean, good for them, but talk about having more money than sense. I mean, I didn't see the number exactly. Did you catch that for Anderson and Gallows, how much they were offered?
$700,000. That's their downside. That's not house show money. That's not their merch money either. So they're probably clearing about close to $1 million like a year. So good for them. I mean, I think Doc Gallows is trash. Like, as a wrestler, I think he's horrible. But if you can get that money, if you can get the money from the McMahons, go for it. I'm hoping Kushida is going to make some $1 million. Hopefully with NXT and AEW in this, quote unquote Wednesday Night War, that it's going to rise. The high tide rises all boats, right? That's the saying, Joel? Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out for Kushida, he would just hop in the time machine and go back to 2019 and stay with New Japan. So it's win-win.
It's totally win-win for him. He loses nothing by going there, really. Like, and if he doesn't like it after 3 years, he just goes back. They took back Kenta. They took Kenta, not back because he's originally from Noah. If some people might not realize that, but same thing will happen with Kushida if that happens. Like Nakamura, when he wants to go back, I say when, not if. When he wants to go back, they will take him back and they will give him a lot of money. Anyways, he'll get a big pop too. My final thoughts about this match, so Joel, I'll be honest, I generally did not like this match, but I thought
it stinks. WH, if you think I'm going to sit here and argue with you and tell you that this is a good match, I'm not. The match is shit, and I hated it as well. But I thought it was important to have a bit of diversity in the proceedings there, because I'm sure everyone else has picked brilliant matches, so I just thought I'd throw something a bit different in there.
But I will say, the heat built throughout this match really well. Like, the psychology of this match, the storytelling of this match was really, really good from Taichi and from Liger. So when you get to the end, where Liger finally vanquishes Taichi, the crowd reacts the way you want them to react. They give Liger the respect that and the adoration that he deserves. So, and I think, you have to watch this match in context. So at first I watched it without really knowing the background of it, because I don't remember when I the story behind it from 3 years ago. And then I watched it again the second time after reading your article about it. So, okay, I understand. Taichi is the A block leader. Liger's winless. These are both of their last, participation in the Best of the Super Juniors. And it was announced that it was Liger. So there's that context into it. You put in the context of previous meetings, their history together. So with that in mind, I think this match becomes a lot more enjoyable the second time I'm watching it, and the end becomes more satisfying. So I will say that if, obviously, if people listen to this and you didn't watch the match before, you're going to watch it after listening to this. I don't know why you would do that. You should watch things before you listen to the review. But I would urge you to go check out the Liger Beat series, and in particular Joel's review of this match. He puts a lot of work into the details and the translations from Momo. She should give our good friend Chris Charlton a run for his money. But yeah, this match has to be seen in context, is basically what I'm saying, Joel.
Yeah, I think so. If there's some way you could put out a little warning in the previous episode in your series and tell people to maybe listen to the podcast before they watch the match, because otherwise what's going to happen? People will see the podcast coming up, they'll watch the match and think, this is terrible, I'm not going to listen to this episode, and skip it. No,
they might watch the match and then look at who picked this match, because they're not going to blame me. They're going to say Joel Abraham from the Super J Cast. They're going to be like, that guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. We're not going to listen to the Super J Cast.
Wouldn't be the first time.
We're not supporting that place. We're not going to give them ad reads. Blah blah blah. But
no change there then.
But no, I do think I'm glad you picked this match, because I do think it's a historical match, in the sense of it's Liger's last Best of Super. And I think for one theme we talked about with this match is that it really shows how charitable, and how giving Liger is as a performer, and as a kind of a senpai to guys in the junior division, where he's he's selfless. He just goes out there and he puts people over. He won this match, but he put Taichi over for 90% of the entire last time he's ever going to be in the Best of the Super Juniors in their second biggest market, in Osaka. So I'm glad you picked it. I at the end of it, I enjoyed it to the point where okay, contextually it makes a lot of sense. And the last 4 minutes of this match are really, really good.
Yeah, I think from a historical point of view, this is an interesting match to look at. Even if it's not the most exciting bell to bell, there's a lot you can learn from it.
Well, I mean, there are people out there who like the Taichi bullshit, so maybe there's going to be a segment of the listeners who are going to, write feedback and say, I love this match. It was my favorite Liger match of all time. If you say that, I question how many Liger matches you've actually seen in your lifetime. But I'm not going to, I'm not going to get on too big of a, soapbox about that. But, so that brings us to the end of the review. Joel, don't worry. There's no trivia on this series. I spared you that. But let's talk about plugging stuff.
Because I'm the champion, undisputed trivia champion, so I can retire with that crown.
Definitely.
No one's going to take it for this series, at least.
Definitely. It's not going to. I don't know if I'll ever bring back trivia on future miniseries that I do for Post Wrestling, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work looking at all this information. But let's get to the part where we plug things for you guys. Tell us about Joel Abraham. Where can we find more Joel Abraham? What do you have to plug?
As you mentioned, I have a New Japan-centric podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Network called Super J-Cast. So you can find that if you go to Twitter, twitter.com/the Super J-Cast. You can find it there with my wonderful co-host, Damon McDonald, and we discuss all things going on in New Japan in agonizing detail. So if you're a fan of New Japan and you haven't listened to the podcast already, please do give us a chance. And my personal Twitter account, at Joel J. Abraham, has mainly got photos of food and my two cats, Scampy and Gatti. So if you like food and cats, then follow that one as well.
And did you put it over the Discord?
Oh, the Discord, yeah. So we have a great Discord where we've got about 700 people on there at the moment, and all very nice people, like-minded people, where we talk about all things, not just New Japan, but all sorts of wrestling promotions, music, food, video games, movies, whatever. And it's something I'm really proud of the people over there who've made it is what it is. So if you were like me a couple of years ago and someone who was into New Japan Pro Wrestling but didn't really have any friends to chat about it, then check out our Discord. So you can find the link to that Discord pinned to our Twitter page, again, twitter.com/the Super J-Cast. So join the fun. A lot of nice people there, and enjoy.
Okay, and I occasionally stop in that Discord. It's a very friendly place, as Joel is saying. So I urge people to join it if you want some friendly, toxic-free discussion. Just don't spoil stuff for Damon. That apparently really gets him angry if you spoil stuff when he's trying not to get spoiled about live shows and stuff like that. But of course, Damon was a guest on the first episode of this series talking about Liger's match with Naoki Sano. Go check that out. On behalf of Joel, I want to thank all the listeners for listening to this episode and to the series in general. And until next time, I will bid everyone adieu and say goodbye.